Hello, I'm television and radio host, producer Rob McKnight. With over 30 years' experience in the industry, this is Media McKnight. And it's Radio Ratings Day. GfK released the final results for 2025 this morning. Survey 8 covers the period of October 5 to December 13, 2025. Let's get into it. As the year closed, Australia's major radio markets, well, they showed a mix of stability at the top and some notable shifts mid-pack, particularly around breakfast shows and music versus talk formats. Let's begin in Sydney, where Smooth FM surges, but 2GB is still the breakfast king. Overall, in one of the most talked about results from Survey 8, Smooth FM overtook talk giant 2GB to record the highest People 10 Plus share in Sydney at 13%. Now that was up from 11.4% in the prior survey. That's a jump of plus 1.6 points. That performance reflects Smooth's growing appeal across age groups and stronger weekend performance. 2GB, historically Sydney's ratings benchmark, well, it fell to 11.2% from 13.8%. That's a minus 2.6% slide. This underscores music formats clawing ground back from talk. Behind them, KIIS 106.5 was on 9.5%, Gold 101.7 was at 9.1%, both edged up while Nova 969 was on 7.8% and advanced slightly. Breakfast breakdown. Despite losing overall station lead, 2GB Breakfast, hosted by Ben Fordham, remains Sydney's number one breakfast show with roughly 14.9% share, though this was down from 16.8% in Survey 7. KIIS 105's Carl and Jackie O stayed a serious contender with a 12.7% share. That was up a touch on last survey. Smooth FM Breakfast posted a solid 10.1%. That's up over a point, signalling music formats are no longer just evening or weekend options. Gold 101.7 also grew its morning audience to 9.7%, while Nova 969 dipped to 7.9%. Christian O'Connell is now networking his show from Melbourne into Sydney, replacing Jonesy and Amanda. He's calling it Australia's first national show. It isn't. He's only available in some markets on DAB. How is that any different to being able to listen to any breakfast show on any app? This survey period followed industry reporting that talk formats in Sydney are facing younger audience erosion, particularly on weekends and in drive, trends that Smooth FM appears to be capitalising on. On the FM dial, the continued strength of KIIS in breakfast is the envy of rivals. In Melbourne, 3AW remained on top with a 13.9% share of People 10 Plus, though slightly down from 14.7% last survey. Hot on its heels was Gold 104.3, which jumped to 13.3%. That was from 12.5%, seeing an increase of 0.8% points, continuing its strong run with classic hits. Elsewhere, Nova 100 lifted to 7.9, Smooth FM 91.5 went to 8.5 and saw a small dip, and Fox FM eased back. To breakfast, 3AW Breakfast with Ross and Russ remained dominant with 19.8%, just off its previous 20.1%, still a massive lead over other programs. Now, the station deserves recognition of being the true number one. I'm not really a fan of reporting only referring to the FM result as number one without qualification, which many in the media do. Gold 104.3 Breakfast kept strong with 11%, marginally down. And I just mentioned that Christian O'Connell is going national, so it will be interesting to see if he alienates the Melbourne audience. Nova 100 Breakfast lifted to 8.8%, while Smooth FM grew to 7.4%. Fox FM fell back to 7.2%. That's a minus 1.5% drop. Much will be made of Carl and Jackie O dropping 0.5% to come in at 8th place. It's a very different story to what they experience in Sydney. Melbourne commentators have pointed to talk radio's entrenched position here, with 3AW's longevity carrying listeners through the year. Gold's continued gains reflect strategic playlist adjustments and strong network promotions. To Brisbane, where Triple M edges to the top and KIIS is in turmoil. Overall, Triple M Brisbane claimed top station share with 12.1%, a modest increase from 11.9% last time. Close behind were Nova 106.9 and B105, while KIIS 973 posted a small gain too. In breakfast, there's been so much change in this slot. Heading into 2026, it's almost not worth worrying about these results. but here we go. Nova's 106.9's breakfast team led 12.9%, though slightly down. Triple M breakfast came in second with 11.8%, nearly unchanged from Survey 7. The great result for Nova comes as the network axed top rating performer Ash Bradnam at the end of last year. He's going out with another solid result. B105 edged in at 11.5%, while KIIS 973, despite internal upheaval, recorded 10.2%, down from 11.2%. Brisbane was a market under the microscope this quarter because of so many changes announced on so many stations. KIIS Brisbane controversially sacked its breakfast team in late 2025. They said goodbye, only for the network to change their mind before bringing them back for this new year. So for the Survey 8 data collection, everyone thought they were going. And that's why it's surprising the show didn't do better for what was supposed to be its final swan song. Meanwhile, Triple M's hold in Brisbane continues to be built on strong personalities and local engagement. To Adelaide, Triple M stayed on top with 13.9%. That's slightly down from 14.3%. Mix 102.3 nudged up to 12.9%, and Nova 91.9 came in at 10.1%. In the breakfast breakdown, Triple M led breakfast with 15.1%, even though that was down from 16.2%. 5AA breakfast surged to 13%, jumping on stronger talk interest. ABC Adelaide breakfast saw robust growth to 11.3%. Again, talk is resonating. Mix and Nova also posted steady results. Adelaide's market has been dominated by Triple M for several surveys, and this result reinforces its broad appeal across demographics, from breakfast through to drive and weekends. Over in Perth continued to be a Nova stronghold, with Nova 93.7 at 15.4%, though slightly down on last survey. 96 FM surged to 13.4%, and Mix 94.5 sat at 11.9%. Triple M improved to around 9.3%. In breakfast, Nova, with Nathan, Nat and Sean, is still number one. They saw their share dip to 17.7% from 19.4% last survey. Triple M breakfast was one of the big movers, up to 13%, signalling strong traction in the morning slot. 96 FM breakfast also rose to 11.2%, and ABC Perth breakfast grew to 7.6%. You know, Perth is an increasingly competitive market, with music brands chipping away at traditional leaders and local breakfast programming blending music with talk, engaging more listeners. Here are the key takeaways from Survey 8. Music formats are making strategic gains. Across Sydney, Melbourne and Perth, music-led brands like Smooth FM, Gold and Nova continue to chip away at talk's dominance, particularly in overall share and breakfast stability. Talk radio is still effective, but pressures do mount. While 3AW and 2GB remain powerhouse talk brands in Melbourne and Sydney respectively, their slight share dips illustrate increasing audience fragmentation and competition from music formats. Sister station 4BC in Brisbane is struggling, but can lineup changes coming into effect now fix the issue? Only time will tell, and we'll start to get an idea in the first survey in March. Breakfast moves matter. KIIS Brisbane's breakfast hiring and firing drama was more than industry gossip. It showed up in the numbers. Triple M's breakfast lift in Perth and stable results in Brisbane point to effective morning branding and host stability. Matthew O'Reilly, SEA Head of Broadcast Content, said, "Survey 8 gives us plenty to be proud of and a strong foundation to build on. Congratulations to the Triple M Adelaide and Brisbane teams for once again holding the number one spot. An outstanding result driven by strong local content and a deep connection with audiences. It's great to see SEA finish the year on top in the audience that matters." Their press release says that's 25 to 54. To continue, reflecting the strength and consistency of our lineups and brands nationally. Greg Burns, 9 Radio's National Content Manager, said, "If you're not listening to Ben Fordham in Sydney and Ross and Russ in Melbourne, you're truly missing out. After dominating all year, 2GB and 3AW are launching into 2026 with breakfast programs that are undisputed market leaders. Across the network, listeners this year will reconnect with their favourite presenters and be introduced to a host of exciting new voices. It's been a relentless summer news cycle, but our talk stations will always set the agenda and context our audience expects." And that brings us to the end of this special edition of Media McKnight. We're back to regular programming next week, streaming out at 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time on Tuesday night. You can get early access, though, by becoming a paid member at youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight. That's youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight. I'm Rob McKnight. I hope to see you then.